All right, so today I'm going to be starting the next project that I'm working on. That is another piece of furniture. So this is a hutch that I found for free on Facebook Marketplace. So the hutch that we have in our house, it's kind of bulky. It's also kind of like it looks kind of like a country style hutch, and it has like a shelf. Um, that you can like set things on, and that's something that I don't want because we tend to just place random things on there and clutter it up. So I want something that's going to be nice and clean looking, that's going to stay organized. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and just started looking at hutches, and I happened to come across this one. I really liked it. So what I've done so far is I've taken all of the hardware off. As far as the handles, it had a couple handles that were already falling off anyways. So I will be switching out the hardware because it's kind of like, looks like this. And so I found really pretty hardware that I'm going to be using as far as like the handles and the knobs and things. So all the hardware will just not be used for this project, the original hardware. So basically what I've done is taken all the hardware off. So as you look at the doors, like everything has came off. And then what I did, just so I can remember what went to what, I bag it up with the screws so that I can remember what screws go to what hardware. Otherwise, I don't want to spend like 50 billion years trying to, rescrewing stuff in to realize that, oh, the screw's too short and I used it somewhere else. So it's just better to keep track. So basically, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out because there's like random things like sparkles and dust, and the drawers have, just random little debris inside. So I'm going to go ahead and like sweep it out. And then also I'm going to take the doors. So these doors, I'm going to take them completely off the hinges so that I can go ahead and paint the inside of here. So, easier. And I won't be bumping into the doors. And also it'll give me the ability to fully paint the doors a lot easier than leaving them on. So I will be taking off all the doors so that I can paint them separately, and as well as pulling out all the drawers. But prior to doing that, I will be sanding this entire thing. So that I can go ahead after I sand it and get the coating off of the wood. I will go ahead and then I will prime it. So I will prime it probably 2 to 3 times as far as coats. And I'm debating whether I want to stain the inside of these drawers or if I want to paint the inside. So I'm not sure what I want to do with those yet. So I'm kind of thinking that through. I still have to, do all the sanding. So hopefully by the time I'm done with the sanding, I will have made up my mind. As well as I was just going to do this one color. But then I saw such beautiful, intricate detail. So I might go ahead and do like an accent trim. Just to kind of make it pop. And the accent trim would be like a metallic silver, which will match the hardware that I'm doing for this hutch. So depends on how much time and effort I want to put into it and how crazy this gets as I get farther into the project. But if I find that I want to go, all out, then I probably will take the time to do the intricate detail. And when I do that, I usually, the reason why it's so taxing is because I usually do it with a really tiny, tiny brush, and I just freehand it. I usually don't cover anything. I just like freehand everything with like a tiny brush. So, we'll see. But I'm probably, knowing myself and how I get like I'm super detail oriented. I'm probably gonna get it painted and then definitely probably decide that yes, I want to make sure that like it's blinged out with like the detail, being matching the hardware. So that's just kind of how I operate. But yeah, and then also If you can see, I don't know if you can see very well, so I'll have to do it at an angle. There's like some type of sticky tape that has been on here, so I'm gonna probably try to get like goof off and remove it. As well as I have a razor scraper, so I'll just go ahead and scrape this off. And then I will tape, you know, the glass, because I don't really feel like having to go with a razor and take any kind of paint that gets on the glass off. So yeah, so far this is what it looks like. I just want to get a video of it completely as I bought it. So this is how it came. And then you will just be following me through this process the same way I did with the bookshelf that I finished and the armoire. And I will probably be doing this project as well as working on the room at the same time, because I tend to do multiple things at one time. So stay tuned for this reveal, because I have a feeling this one's going to really be amazing. Okay, so day one, I started on the hutch. I managed to complete all the sanding, and then I managed to get the first coat of primer on. So as you can see, I am wearing a lot of it. I've already ran into issues with the hutch, so for some reason I thought there was like 3 doors that went across the top, where the shelves are, that you can put like, you know, knickknacks or wine glasses or whatever you want. And come to find out, it's one big door. So this is the door, but then there is additional panels, only they don't move. So painting the edge of the shelves, it's like a tiny space. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna get that painted, because there's no way to remove them. They're literally, you know, there's no hinges or anything. They're built in glass panels with wood trim. So even painting those, like the good thing is that I have like a straight razor, so I'm able to, you know, clean the glass in the inside when I'm done. But I'm not, how I got the primer on that part was I used my finger and I had a glove on. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna paint this. I might have to like break a paintbrush, like the handle of the paintbrush, like one of the little tiny paintbrushes, down until it's really small, and then try to use that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, that's already my first issue with the hutch. So yeah, there's a lot of confined spaces that are going to be troublesome to try to paint, and not just get the paint on the area, but to make it smooth and not lumpy, or no, you know, drippings that end up drying. So um, I'm pretty sure for the inside, it's gonna have to be done like little by little to make sure um, that there's not just a catastrophe. And then as well as also making sure that I'm going to paint with like the thinnest layer of paint, and just add layers of paint until I get the desired depth that I want, because I feel like if I try to paint everything on, you know, thicker, then I'm gonna run into bigger issues with once it's drying, and it would be like lines everywhere and just ugly. So I'm going to do it kind of like how you would paint fingernail polish, like just multiple coats until it gets to the right colors. So we'll see, but so far so good. I mean, besides those issues, like everything is primed except for this door, because I wanted to make sure I could get this door off. All the drawers and everything are pulled out. I took all the other 2 doors off the hinges as well, and painted those on some cardboard. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like with the first coat of primer. And then, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to let it dry tonight, throughout the night. And then it should be good for the second coat tomorrow. One thing I learned with primer is not to try to like put multiple coats on, even if it's been drying for a couple hours, because I feel like when you do that, sometimes if it's not completely dry, it'll just smear it back off, and so it doesn't really coat it and make it thick like a second coat. It just kind of wipes the paint away and kind of reapplies it. So it's a really good idea that you try to wait at least a good amount of hours, 8 to 12, so that it can actually dry fully. And that way, when you go to coat it a second time, you're actually going to get a full, nice second coat that's going to be even across the whole thing. So I am definitely down for the day, because I have been doing this since this morning and I am over it. So I'm going to show you basically what I completed today right now. All right, so basically this is the first coating of the primer on the doors. So I did the front first and the sides, and then once these dry and I do it a second time or a third time, eventually I'll flip it over, because the only part that I couldn't do is the back side. So and then these are the drawers. So I did not prime the inside of the drawers or the outside, simply because it's just wood that's never been painted. So if I do paint the wood, I don't need the primer. It should stick to it just fine, because there's no finish, no varnish, no type of weird coating or wax or anything. It's just plain old dry wood. So this is what that looks like. And of course, I removed all the hardware, as I said that I was going to do, because I'm replacing it. And this is what the hutch looks like, fully primed. So it is now white. I am not going to do the inside where the drawers go, because there's no point. You will never see that. But I did fully paint the insides of the two cabinets that have the doors, which are these doors down here. So I did paint the inside. It was like a weird, ugly brown, which I do not want, because this hutch is going to be going in my dining room, and the color definitely is not brown in there. So yeah, so pretty much the hardest part was sanding this, and I did not sand it like all the way down. I just sanded it enough to take a lot of the varnish that was on there off, as well as to rough it up, just because once you rough it up, then it will definitely take the Kills primer that I use. So basically I just roughed up everything. So some of this I had to do by hand, which is why I was doing this like all day. It did not take me that long to put the primer on, but it did take me a long time to sand. So a lot of it I had to do by hand, just because the angles and things. So like all of this up here I had to do by hand around these, which is the part that I was talking about in the other part of this video that I could not remove because they're stuck. So as you can see, like right here, this is gonna be really hard to paint. You can barely get your finger right here. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna figure it out. Even if I have to do it, I don't know, maybe with like a Q-tip or something. But it's very tight, as you can see, like super tight. And it does this all the way down. So somehow I'm going to brainstorm and come up with a good idea. And yeah, so this side is much easier for whatever reason, I guess, just because the way that I'm painting and the angle that I'm at, I can get to this one way better. With this side, it is a hot mess. But I will figure it out somehow. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but somehow I'll manage. But yeah, so this was a huge chore, but it's already turning out pretty cool. I'm already excited, just to even get the primer on. I can already, like, in my head see the outcome of what this is gonna be like, so that's really cool. So I guess I will show you really quick, kind of like a sneak peek of the color that I'm doing, and where I got it from. So just one moment. Okay, so this picture right here are three pictures that are in my dining room. So this is where I got the inspiration for the color that I'm going to be using. It's from this picture right here, which if you look at like how the table is done, then you can pretty much see like the color. So this is kind of a darker shade, not as bright as the picture, but that's kind of like where I got the idea from. And so this is the original hutch that was here, and this is what will be getting removed and then switched out for the one that I'm decked. And this right here is the beautiful color. So this is we have one colored wall in our living room, dining room. It is this long gray wall that goes from the living room part, which is over here, all the way to the dining room. So I'm using this color right here for the hutch that is outside, and it's going to play off of my paintings. So it should turn out really cool. And then the hardware that I got, that I'm getting, it's gonna be really pretty. So I'm super excited to go grab the paint and then get started on the hutch outside. So stay tuned, because I will be showing definitely more video as I progress with the project. So until then, see you guys later.